Grammy winner. Marvin, you have to put that first home base female.
First and foremost,
congratulations, Marvin.
It's a thing of joy to see how far Afrobeat has come. You know, many years ago, it was just like a joke. You know, when the Two-Face and Remedies and the likes, we were seeing Grammy as something that was so far off. That we never imagined we were ever going to be getting it this soon. So seeing Nigerians getting it back to back to back, imagine Burna Boy and herself being nominated, and then Whiskey and Burna Boy again. So for Tems, I'm really happy for Tems because knowing how she started, this is one artist that at one point, it felt like no record label in Nigeria wanted to sign her because they felt her sound was very different, and then she started doing things herself, and all of that, and then thanks to the smash hit Essence with Wizkid, that kind of like just elevated her, put her on that platform, where everybody got to see her. So I'm really, really excited for her that she was able to win this,
Julie, what is it about Nigerian music? President Barack Obama actually put Burna Boy on his playlist last year, and everywhere you go in the world, I was in Dallas, and the first 3 hit songs were playing everywhere. You think you are in Nigeria?
Yes, in those days, even here in our country, at parties, American R&B, R&B hits that they will be playing, and they were also fond of playing old tunes, again foreign.
Yes.
But today, and this is making them all the more acceptable on the global plane, because you see Wizkid doing collabos with big artists. You see Burna Boy doing collabos. You see even artists not as big as they are able to do collabos. This guy, the former boyfriend of Rihanna.
Rick?
No, the one that went to jail because of Rihanna. What's her name? What's his name again? The one, Mona Lisa, now that the collaboration for Mona Lisa. Chris Brown.
Oh, Brown.
Chris Brown. I was surprised that Chris Brown and that artist, not particularly famous, but the sound was good enough for a Chris Brown to agree to feature on it. That's the point that I'm making. Our music is now of international standard, and
it is.
Look, people may say all kinds of nasty things about Nigeria because we too, we let ourselves down by some of the nasty things we do. But these young people are people in the IT, are people in entertainment, young people, they are making our country proud. And Nigeria needs to invest more. Because clearly now, that is an area where we can even earn a lot of foreign exchange. There was a time when ABBA musical group was bringing the greatest foreign exchange into Sweden, even higher than Volvo, the Volvo automobile company. It's from Sweden. They were earning more foreign exchange than Volvo. So that's to tell you that music can actually be a big foreign exchange earner for our country if we give these guys all that they need, make the environment conducive for them.
Marvin, you've been in this industry for a while now, and the evolution of Nigerian artists. Yeah. Did you see this coming?
So with the aggression that people like, to be fair to the likes of Two-Face, the band, these guys actually did pave the way, but the guys now,
as far back as 2010, the band did a collaboration with Snoop Dogg.
Snoop, and then Two-Face at one time even tried to do something with R. Kelly, even though some people felt okay, they weren't together in the studio. But we started seeing the push. I think the band was one of those guys that started pushing, to get out of Africa.
We did all to say that's why
he's doing
that's the point. When you said Burna Boy, I believe that Wizkid can sell out any arena. He's that big. Is that big? Is that the respect that he has is tremendous. You can't quantify it, And I can say a lot of artists have also been influenced by Wizkid. There was a boy who won a talent hunt competition as a little boy and see how he has grown. I was watching Rema play in Holland, I think Rotterdam. The moment he invited Wizkid to come on stage, if you see the ovation, that's to tell you how
There's
big.
this spirit behind that Afrobeat music. When they start the soundtrack for Oju Elegba,
That's to tell you.
So big.
That's to tell you how big Wizkid is.
Yes.
Wizkid is a Nigerian export to the world, a very big Nigerian export to the world. You can see him; he's not got a big body, but that is a tremendous artist, and so many artists have actually taken after him, and we are seeing the result all over the world. You know, everyone talks about Nigerian music.
I mean, in terms of competition, just look at the last World Cup. We had Davido that played in the finals inside the arena.
I was just saying now that Wizkid this year is having his show. Oh, I think I was even, undermining myself, So right now in Africa, I think every other African
How many downloads did Kiss Daniel record the other day? I think up to 12 million for
and again,
for Cough.
They are making the money now because unlike those days when it used to be Alaba to decide how much they get for their
the marketer
album.
would determine their fates.
Now it is strictly Apple Music, it's strictly Spotify, and all of these guys. So they are making their money directly. And that's back to what he talked about, Forex coming back to Nigeria. Now, Apple Music, these guys are making so much money from YouTube.
So we've left the era of CD, hawking CDs and everything.
They don't even do all of that.
The number of
so
download you have and everything, you make your money there.
It's so easy now, and
Well,
I'm
that's
just
a lot of
excited.
money.
Looking at the Premier League, like what you're saying, scattered with Nigerians now. Almost all the big teams. See, there's one
even in
Nigeria.
some of these English teams, when they win and they are celebrating in their locker room, it's Nigerian music that they are playing. I was shocked. And look at people like even Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
He sings Nigerian.
That's Fela back. That's Fela is back. Burna Boy still sees himself as the next Fela. So they're all giving him that respect. Like you paved the way, would always, respect you and honor your legacy. Yes, I'll definitely give it to that family. I think they've, still over the years, they've held it down. I still believe.
There are many artists that you ask yourself, why have they not won the Globe? Why have they not won Grammy? It's difficult for us to pinpoint by doing well, and the fact that Tems can win this, I used to see as simply as Wizkid's protege, because Wizkid brought her under his wings. Now Wizkid has won something, and Tems too has won literally the same thing. So it means that the future is bright, not just for these ones, but for some of those who are coming behind them.
We've broken the glass.
It's been shattered completely.
So what next? What next?
It's just for the industry now to grow. It's just for the relevant bodies. It's just for people to now start seeing, or maybe government. I don't like to use the word government, but Nigeria needs to start paying attention to this side of the country that's really doing well. Music and entertainment is doing really well. And then the funny thing is, these guys carried this all by themselves.
Yes.
Without any support, without any help. Some of them with their own money or with friends' money, you understand? So it is time now for government to really sit down and say, this is good, this would be lucrative, and this would help the economy, and it will also help the younger ones. Because there are a lot of people, Nigeria is so talented, I don't think any other country can keep up, especially in Africa.
Even these guys we're talking about, the commotion they cause in African countries, if you see the likes of the P Squares, if they go to the stadium in Liberia, lock it down. Stampede everywhere, Sierra Leone
yes.
everywhere,
And
South Africa.
Unfortunately, it's like they came a little too early. Peace Square, when they went to Burkina Faso, they were received at the airport by the president of that country. And they took a ride in the president's car. When I saw Peace Square perform, the one that is released recently, I'm trying to...
One demo?
No, not the last, the one before One Damo. Okay. The one before One Damo, and it's a song that I sing a lot. But, you know?
No.
Well, the one led by Crayon.
Yeah.
You know? that's so in a Ghanaian school, in a Ghanaian secondary school, they were singing that song, and I'm like, the students, so it's like on the assembly ground, it was that song that they were singing. And the same dancing that you saw Crayon, Ladipo, and the rest of them, they were just singing. I said, so this song is already popular in Ghana. You know, not long after it was released. That's to tell you that our people will dominate
today we have to leave
song for so long.
To tell you that we'll still have time to catch up in spite of politics. Maybe not me,
Absolutely.
the GM of Max FM.
Of the 40 additional police constables approved by Mr. President to shore up the manpower of Nigerian police force. The APM rescued me an application for emergency response
agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as Vice President. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, Ganinka Idebalogun is joining us. GKB, thank you for staying with us.
Thank you very much.
The 2023 general
It's
election.
also a very, it's a good music follower.
Barista
expert. It's a barista
anything
expert.
about
It even looks facially like
like
barista.
barista. So anytime we are doing
Please don't tell them.
anniversary for
Don't tell
barista.
them it's my uncle.
He won't join us in singing overdose, but he can sing.
My son is a hip hop artist.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Just like Barista's two sons, also doing hip hop.
Yeah.
I think this one.
As the 2023 general elections draws nearer, a gloomy cloud has been cast over the preparation for the polls. Terrorists struck in Katsina State at the weekend when they killed 42 members of the vigilante group, popularly called Jan Sakai. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the killing. Meanwhile, one person was killed, 2 others injured, and about 10 women abducted when terrorists attacked Tundu Magaji community in Kontagora local government area of Niger State. Judy, this is quite difficult. We've been getting figures, but it's sad enough that when we thought that we've stemmed the tide of banditry, violence, and all sorts of vices in the north, we'll still have terrorists killing 42 people, vigilantes in one day.
You know, in the northwest, the conflict between the Ensakai and the bandits is an unending one. The
It's just like
Ensakai,
this thing here, Amotekun, abi?
No, these are vigilante.
this is not really Amotekun. No, Amotekun is government usually into farming. The Fulani, cattle rearing, and Zamfara State. One of the first things he did was to say, look, I've banned Ensakai, because every time they avenged killing by headsmen, it led to greater killings, because those ones who just come into a community, they are not going to ask questions. And they are not even likely to see the so-called Ensakai. They will just kill innocent people. So the government then felt, okay, let's stop this. Let's stop these guys from operating. Maybe that way, this killing of our people in their communities will stop. Reprisal killings, revenge killings. So now the bandits don't like to see these guys. Because even some of the weapons they use, they dread those weapons. Weapons manufactured by them. They dread it, they fear them. What they did in this case was like an ambush. And ambush, as they knew, they expected them. Maybe they got information.
To arm these people adequately, give them legal backing. In short, create.
Not the governors, because
No,
firearms
hold on. The
is
governors
an
are
exclusive thing.
Hold on, listen now. Because it's been done in the Southwest. You take people and you equip them enough. They can never be as good as the bandits. But with the support of the state, they can deter reasonably for the real people to come in and take charge. And I'm telling you from personal experience. Because you know what the vigilantes and the hunters in the Southwest have done. Since the attack on Lagos Ibadan, you know what they've done to clear the forest to ensure that the place is relatively safe. And they were there for even before attack. So this same thing applies when you are, but if you are running away from the reality that this is an something conflict that dates back over 100 years, honest with itself, and solve that original problem. This is just another blip in the war that will last 100 years.
Is Louis still there? Louis from Lagos. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I actually like your program. I have to, actually look at all the regions and tap into the area that they are good at, develop the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
Let's talk about music. My fear is that I don't want government to get too involved. Because you already know it now. You set up regulations and start applying federal character. And all these things these boys and girls are doing will disappear. You just leave them alone, let them aspire and get whatever they want.
We don't have such a character in our national team.
You'll be surprised. I know Nigeria. I know what happened when they were trying to control certain things. Before you know it, somebody will say, okay, we are not represented there.
Okay, back to our discussion, because this same Katsina, the All Progressive Congress, they're there today for the rally, and at the height of it all, it's been Katsina, Zamfara, competing at Niger. In terms of the number of, I don't envy Governor Masari, because throughout almost 8 years, he battled these bandits.
And you know the kind of money that you could have spent on development, you are spending on security. You know how much the Katsina State has spent on the armed forces and kidnapped those students, those boys 2 years ago. It's still same Kankara, because there is a forest that stretches, passes through that local government. And where you have those forests, those are the local governments that these guys are troubling in Katsina State. Dusima, Basari, Kankara, and others, troubling them because they have where to hide. The forest provides cover for them. So I don't know what we will do with our forests, including forests that we left unattended for years. Look at Niger. Part of the national park, the Kainji Lake National Park, these boys have entered. That's a national treasure that in the past people enjoy going. Now that is where these boys are now. That was how we left Sambisa. Sambisa was a game reserve. We left it unattended for years. Now Boko Haram, when you mentioned Sambisa, people remember Boko Haram because that is their habitation. So I don't know, it's not, to have forests should not be something that normally a country should be bothered about. But in our own case, that is what provides foliage, provides cover for these bandits. Anywhere that there is forest, you can be sure that, they will be happy. I know some local governments in Zamfara, for example, where bandits don't disturb them. Those are local governments where they don't really have forest. But others, where you have thick forest, that is where they stay. They kidnap our people, they take them. Too much left for you to do. Because we can't be reading about this kind of killing of 40-something people. It's a national calamity.
I don't understand.
It's a national...
In other parts of the world, if this will happen, they will just declare the days of mourning.
Is it days of mourning alone? What happened when people died during that Champions League match? Liverpool, Juventus. The government fell. You know? Over football-related stampede and all that. The government fell as a result. I can tell you that elsewhere, this kind of thing, if 40-something people killed, elsewhere,
Let's roll.
else would massively roll. In fact, what happened in Sri Lanka, immediately it happened, the defense minister, that terrorist attack, the defense minister left. He did not even wait to be told to go. He had to go.
Okay, and finally, we're in desperate time in Nigeria, and desperate measures are required to stem the tide, especially the issue of Naira scarcity. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, said the lower legislative chamber is considering emergency session before the presidential and national.
At least we are not seeing the result yet. Even if they made the
1 billion naira,
we cannot see. We can't see the. You know that this whole thing, we're talking about this cashless thing. When 20 people were doing online banking or what was it called?
Just
before now. And suddenly 80 people
entered the same platform.
Trying to use the same services. And the infrastructure is not big enough to accommodate. That is a jump. It's not, there's nothing else that you can, no other word that you can use to, it's a jump. If you move from 20 to 80, it's a jump. And to be able to accommodate that jump, you need
prepare for it.
You need to have prepared for it. You can't just wake up one day and say, we go cashless. I mean, this cashless thing, one economist was telling me that there's nowhere in the world where it's a sin for people to carry cash now. Why are you trying to make it look like lots of Naira notes? Yes, they too know now that ground no level. Because once you get to where they are, and they flash that familiar smile,
yes,
you know that, look, this thing not going to work this time. You know, you give me your best smile, and we not part with what I have. I have only, see, this is the only thing I have. Is this 500 naira looking like old 200 naira? That's what I have left.
Looking battered.
Look at it. Just this is what I have left. Now, there is no amount of smile that a policeman can flash at me at a road intersection that like will make me part with this. Because I need it as much as he needs it. And I'm keeping it where it's not likely to fall off. It's so bad. These people like today, one of my younger ones went to 3 banks, they were all shut. Banks now, if they shut the door to you, so how can you then find money? That means you can't use their ATM, you cannot even take money across the counter. The same man who said, that they must not pay across the counter. You want the money to circulate, yet to stop people from taking it across the counter. You want everybody to go to ATM. How many ATM points are there in our country? Some of them in what the suffering we are going through. They should be able to come out to say, no, this is how much we are given. Yeah. What we are given cannot be enough and all that. They should not be afraid to say that.
In terms of circulation and everything, Naira is not like looking for dollar. It's not like up for sale.
It's easier to get dollars than to get, and the danger that I'm looking at. Today is Monday. On the 10th is Thursday, or Friday. What will happen the day after is what I'm afraid of as an analyst. Because you are looking at people still holding to the old money. POS guys are still disbursed.
Yes.
The old money. And we have less than 72 hours. So the explanation.
Everywhere people are using the old money.
So what I'm telling you is that on the morning of Saturday, somebody will go with the old money, somebody will refuse, and somebody will be dealt with. That's where we are going. And the man they will deal with is not the one that is guilty. It's just a POS man trying to make a living. But meanwhile, the big man, because when they say this is cashless, I laugh. You are simply punishing people. Because 60% of our economy is in the formal sector. People who made 2,000 naira a day,
Yes.
3,000 naira a
Pure
day.
water seller.
Where will you go to get POS and pay 1,000 or 5,000?
Yeah, Elewa are going.
That means the entire profit is gone to the POS operator. We are sitting on a keg of gunpowder and we are playing politics with it. And I told somebody on radio this morning, I said, look, if you are not Yoruba, go and listen to the proverb of the tortoise-in-law. People will blame the tortoise on the way out, but they will descend on the in-law on the way back. If people think they are blocking somebody from using this as an advantage in the election, by the time our people start descending on the assets of these people,
Or the innocents.
people that will start,
How
because
many
trigger
innocent
them.
people lost their property during
Do just that.
even in our
not
little,
recovered.
even our little estate, they will give it an alarm now. People should not be allowed to come in without showing proof that they are coming to see somebody. Because I foresee, God forbid, the next few days, things may go out of control.
The arrest is okay. Let's quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this break.
Brother, my sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states, plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states. Let us make sure that we know now so that we don't cause an issue tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO.
A day to remember in the history of our dear country, Nigeria. 9 wise men from the north who were governors came together on June 8th, 2022 to stand for equity and fairness in the interest of our nation, Nigeria. They buried personal interest for the unity of our country. They supported the call that power must shift to the south in 2023. They chose a Nigeria agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It's 18 days to the next general election, and I still have Babajide Kolade Otitoju and GKB in the studio. Ultimately, the way things are going, Nigerians are getting impatient and they're getting frustrated.
That's why,
because this is aggravated in Lagos, at least. More in Lagos with the fuel scarcity.
It has started in Ibadan, don't forget.
Biting everywhere.
that you cannot even get him to think rationally. I don't think that you cannot even get him to think rationally. I don't think it makes sense to find ourselves in that kind of situation because people are already dying now.
And I feel they've continued painting another picture to the president. Because if Mefele will keep telling the president that all is well, we're on top of it.
No, that's why
want
he's
to
been
do this,
blaming
we
the
want to do
banks. That's why he's been accusing the banks. Where Johnson Chukwu was on our show on Friday, and he was saying that he does not know where the president got the information that the banks had all the money, but they are not disbursing. He does not believe. He said, okay, Maybe the banks, CBN said it has tracked the money. So
Bring it out.
if the banks have so much and you have tracked it, what are you doing?
So it goes beyond auditing.
It goes beyond. No, you see, I also said in a season of plenty, you will bring your own out now. You will bring your own out. It's just like fuel scarcity. Maybe they told us that that there was enough fuel. Why are we then in scarcity? Anyone who tells you that, oh, there is enough fuel and there is scarcity is a liar, is a practice liar.
And they'll be setting up committees.
So this is the thing. If there is enough, if you look at the suggestion that El-Rufai made, for example, Governor El-Rufai, he said, in those remote communities, let's come together. Let's arrange. We can move. What's it called? Bullion van. Take to some communities. Ask people to bring their currencies, and then yes, work with governors. You are not doing that. You are not doing. If you have enough, put them community to community. You go change this thing for these people.
Remove the middleman.
Change this thing for these people. These farmers, they can't come out of their communities. Some of them are even scared. Some banks are like 100 kilometers away. Yeah. They will be scared that they could be robbed on the way. So some of them have to even get out of their communities.
For 2,000
yes, so this is the thing. If you have enough, arrange to move money to those places.
Well, this seems to be a boom time for the POS operators and everything.
No, they go through the same stress that we go through.
But
now
they've been charging
2,000 for 10,000 new notes, 1,500 for old notes. But if you are a regular customer, they can still do it for 1,000.
But some of those,
most of them don't have cash.
They don't have to.
They don't have to.
Some are even saying, look, now I can't find money to do this business. Yeah. They don't have to. Likely they don't have. But the problem with us is a few people have, and we make it look like, oh, everybody has. No, that's not the thing. We cannot say, okay, because some banks are guilty of hoarding, oh, every bank is hoarding. No. There are banks who will be ready to disburse this thing if it is available in such huge... yes.
I want to thank you, Gani Kaide Balogun. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah. And the master himself, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. When is accounting that starting?
This week. In the course of this week. We are ready maybe Wednesday or something.
Okay. We'll start
you do the montage. You work on the montage. You can start.
Okay. We'll look at state by state and give our position. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us on Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday between 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Osugbakun. See you tomorrow.
TVC News reporter Ola Wakon wins TV Production of the Year award at the 30th anniversary of the Apex Media Award in Nigeria, the Nigeria Media Merit Award, NMMA 2022.
And the winner is Olaiwola Awakon, TVC.
Congratulations.
Ola Awakon has distinguished himself with his unusual knack for impactful human angle and talent discovery special reports.
And I thank the organizers of the Nigerian Media Merit Award for this and recognizing excellence in the media space. I'm just so excited.
Congratulations, Ola Awakon, for this outstanding achievement. On the 25th of February, Nigerians will go to the polls to elect President Muhammadu Buhari's successor, as well as the 109 senators and 360 members of the House of Representatives who will make up the 10th National Assembly. On the 11th of March, 28 out of 36 states will choose their next executive governors, and the 993 members of the state houses of assembly across the country will be decided. With over 93 million registered voters, Nigeria is on course for 7 cycles of uninterrupted general elections since return of democracy in 1999. Join me on TVC News for the countdown to the February 25th national election and March 11th state election for all the updates and analysis you need to know. Every weekday at 6 p.m.
Your
favorite agricultural variety show, Farm and Fortune, is finally back. Season 3 of OCP Farm and Fortune is bigger, bolder, more enlightening, and funnier than ever before.
You're always right on time with the right people and movers and shakers of the world of marketing as they share their views and ideas on the business and challenges of advertising, corporate affairs, media strategy, and the unfolding exciting world of digital marketing. Join the trendsetters and key decision makers as they shape opinions and project into the future of the marketing landscape for 30 exhilarating minutes on this channel. Stay ahead, be thrilled to beat, be marketing savvy with Marketing Edge on TV. Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Hello there. It's a brand new quarter and your favorite TV program, CAC Weekly, is about to unveil new innovations fresh from the Nigerian Company Registry. Now, have you heard of the Extensible Business Reporting Language XBRL standard for filing of electronic financial statements? Do you also know that there's so much that you can do on your own on the company's registration portal, CRP, from the comfort of your home or your office? Because the CRP offers end-to-end electronic registration solution for accredited customers and the general public to initiate and complete pre-registration and post-registration applications electronically, online filing of annual returns, online registration of limited liability partnership and limited partnership. See you there.
Genuine business people desirous of success in today's environment ignore the taxman only at their own peril.
Under the oversight of this board, the FIRS will continue its transformation into a premier revenue collecting agency.
For up-to-date and accurate information on your obligations, duties and rights under the various tax laws in Nigeria, watch Tax Matters on TVC News Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news. Undermining the electoral process in this country. The lives of INEC staff have also been exposed to danger which might affect their mental readiness for the task. In the last 33 months, more than 40 INEC offices have been attacked, with the commission reporting loss of critical property. The attacks occurred in 14 states between February 2019 and May 2021. Imo State topped the log with the most attacks during the period under review. But even with a few weeks before the election, we've recorded similar attacks in Imo, Enugu, and Anambra. But it all began back in 2019. So let's take a short timeline of these attacks. 4 attacks in February of 2019. February 3rd, arsonists attacked an INEC office in Olu local government area after a court ordered a rerun election in Imo State. On the 22nd of February same year, 12 election duty vehicles were set ablaze at INEC office in Obotakara local government area of Akwa Ibom State. And on the 23rd of February was when the commission's office at Uriade local government area in Osun State was attacked. On the 24th February 2019, in the post-election violence, arsonists had attacked the commission's office in Isialambano local government area. of Imo State. And then the attacks went on to March the 6th when thugs attacked INEC office in Ibesikwa Sultan local government area of Akwa Ibom. And that same day, arsonists also attacked the commission's office in Eastern Obolo local government area of the state. 3 days after, on March the 9th, the INEC office at Umpatene local government area of Akwa Ibom was also attacked. And these are just a few mentioned out of the 40 attacks on INEC's facilities since 2019 to date. With all of these, we're asking the question whether INEC is fully prepared and also whether or not elections will hold come 25th February.
With barely 18 days to the general election, campaigns are in top gear as different political parties are busy crisscrossing the length and breadth of Nigeria campaigning. Attacks on security agents and INEC facilities, especially in the south, have generated growing concern around the sanctity of the election date. In December 2022, 3 attacks and arson, including the use of explosives, broke INEC offices in southeastern state of Anambra, Imo, and Enugu state. In the new year, CUPP spokesman Ikenga Ugochinyeri's house was also attacked in Imo state.
Look at this.
Also, INEC facilities in Anambra, Enugu, even police stations were attacked. These attacks were reportedly linked to a section of secessionist agitation group that insisted that no election must take place in the region.
Reconfigure a style that will soften the conscience of the boys who listen to this leader. Because it will have a way of letting all of us vote. Whether you're a supporter or you're a non-supporter. If you know that you're going to come and vote peacefully and go, you will come out. But if you know that you're under the threat of being shot or even running, or your blood pressure can spike up, you may not dare to come out.
Statistics from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project suggest that might be a conservative estimate that many feel should be contained to restore voter confidence in the exercise.
People are worried about that. All over the southeast, there has been, a lot of insecurity issues, not just, towards INEC. The people are not secured. The environment is not secured. So the government needs to take, actions in terms of, arresting the perpetrators, prosecuting them. People should see action.
It's actually a concern. But I think it's not something that should make us to all go and relax, but rather to keep engaging, finding solutions by convening subsequent, meetings of security experts, security agents, and of course, all relevant stakeholders at the community level, including traditional leaders.
As the election draws near, Nigeria are challenging government to deploy necessary measures to ensure electorate confidence before, during, and after the polls are restored. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
Now let's get security expert opinion on this. Oyekachi Adekoya is our go-to on the program this evening. Mr. Adekoya, thank you for joining us on the program. Imo, Anambra, and Enugu are where attacks on INEC facilities have been reported recently. In 2021, remember that elections were postponed in Ihiala local government area in Anambra due to security concerns. Do you consider these latest developments a significant threat to the coming election?
Thanks, Nifemi, for having me. I think that the report even shows that there is a lot of concern. And empirically, we see that the statistics of crime will spike. We're now in the period where it spikes. And typically, that will be 1 week to the eve of the election. Coincidentally, the action seems to have started a bit early. Maybe also when you look at the type of incidents that are happening and where they are happening. For example, attacks in the southeast are more against INEC's facility, which will in turn impair INEC's ability to run the election smoothly. In the north, we are seeing attacks on political parties, with PDP bearing the brunt.
Exactly should security agencies react to this as well as other similar threats?
Yeah, thankfully, I think we don't give Nigerian security forces enough credit, because when the police or the DSS or the military intelligence want to work, they can't do a good job. And to be fair to the DSS and to members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, they have been doing a lot of work, particularly in around Imo, Anambra access. So they just continue to do the clearance operations they are doing. In the report, someone talked about community engagement and some civil engagement. That is also what to do. But a little caveat, we have about 176,000 polling units. If you were to put 2 policemen per polling unit, that would give you almost 300 and something. We don't have the number. We don't have the police. We don't have the army. We don't have the number to completely secure every corner of Nigeria during the elections. Remembering also that the borders will be shut down and the border points end. I mean, we estimate that, we estimate that minimum 1 to 2 weeks post-elections, we may still be dealing with some of the issues of the outcome of the election, because if APC wins, if PDP wins, if the Labour Party wins, you then have to manage the expectation, unreasonable as it were, of some of their supporters. So that we would deal with for a long time. And so when you consider the Osun elections, the issues with Beavers and the tribunal, Lawan's case with the Supreme Court, we have a lot of things to manage. Now, in terms of what other things are happening, in the North, we're seeing attacks on parties. On parties, we've seen assassinations in the North. We've seen a lot of action of armed clashes, armed violence in areas of opposition strength. So those are the other things that are happening. And Nifemi, to be fair to you, when we have a local state election, you will hear the police deploy 33,000, 40,000 policemen. You can't deploy that number across the 36 states plus the FCT. So, I mean, we just need, like the National Peace Committee has been appealing, we must have cool heads and cool minds in the room and find a conducive environment for the polls to go on. It's late, but I mean, if we do take a collaborative approach, hopefully we can have a managed situation.
So you talked about 2015 earlier. The election was postponed for some 6 weeks as a result of security concerns. I'm wondering if you think we are there right now. If you add to some of these attacks, if you add to it the security concerns that are also growing as a result of the scarcity of Naira, as well as all of the economic realities we're faced with right now.
Well, without sounding like an alarmist, that's almost like we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. There's a lot of pent-up aggression, there's a lot of pent-up frustration. People are sleeping in the banks. Some banks are without cash. We've heard some of the senators report that CBN has only minted about 300 billion, but it has mopped up 1.9 trillion. That's a far cry from what you need to be in circulation. So we are joking with some serious situation in this country. People can buy fuel. They don't have light. They don't have cash. Cash is the oil that gets the economy running. And a lot of Nigerians are itinerary workers, people who don't even have accounts. So this issue of cash crunch, fuel scarcity, with the mass killings and the frustration in the economy has to be looked into very seriously. Because like some analysts are saying, if we have bouts of uncontrolled, but it's a very serious concern. And thank you for raising it. It's absolutely a serious concern.
So in 30 seconds, Mr. Adekoya, you don't share the optimism by INEC that 25th February is sacrosanct, particularly now that the president is asking for 7 days to fix all these problems.
No, absolutely. Constitutionally, we don't like
general elections. Stay with us. Kaduna said Nasir El-Rufai about some forces in the presidential villa frustrating the chances of APC at the poll has been eliciting reactions. Just last week Friday, governors of the APC met President Buhari on the challenges confronting the nation from full scarcity to naira scarcity, which the president promised to address in 7 days. Well, is this a promise that will bring succor to Nigerians? And we're also asking the question right now, who are these powerful forces in the villa? Let's get more perspectives in this report from TVC State House correspondent Femi Akonde.
President Muhammadu Buhari's attendance at the flag-off of the APC presidential campaign rally in Nasarawa further demonstrated his commitment to campaigning for the Tinubu-Shettima presidential ticket and his desire to ensure the APC gets the highest number of votes. But recently, the party was hit by issues that threatened to tear it apart. There are allegations of lack of commitment from certain individuals in the hierarchy of the APC. But the APC governors from the north have decided to stick together and
outright cancellation of the polls. Thankfully, the president has said he will look into it. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum has also further engaged the president on the matter. We look forward to a favorable outcome.
The presidency has not confirmed nor denied the report of a disgruntled cabal working against the chances of the party at the presidential ballots after they lost out during the APC primary election. The APC governors want the old currency to still be used as legal tender until the end of the year. The CBN is sticking to its guns and refusing to shift grounds, but President Muhammadu Buhari has the final say and power to insist on a shift in deadline. For now, it is still unclear who the cabals are.
Who do you think the cabals are? TVC senior political correspondent Ayodele Uzukbaku joins me in the studio now. It's 18 days to the presidential election and campaigns are taking a different twist. We've had cabal several times during this administration, but at what point did they become a part of our politics?
Okay, Nifemi, it's a very difficult question to answer because the word cabal has always existed, in our lexicon, tracing back to even. Let me start by the recent one, 1999. It became prominent during the Yaradua administration. But when I was just searching for that word cabal, and I said, okay, let me make my research into that word. Before that time, the word cabal came, but it was just a group of, some ministers under King Charles II in the United Kingdom. So that name, Clifford, Arlington, Buckingham, Ashley, and Laundry.
So it wasn't
from CABA.
Acronym from the
Yes, cabal. They were strong ministers under King Charles. So I now said, okay, let me do this. In 1999, when you talk about people that, they are not necessarily elected people. They are people, president's men, after the Federal Executive Council meeting, president's brothers, president's, friends. The president is human. We have friends. So in 1999, we refer to the likes of Otuba Fashewe, as part of the cabal, late Ufo Kaiti, SSG. You talk about Andy Uba. Andy Uba was SSA Domestic Affairs, very, very strong. This Andy Uba from Anambra State. Abdullah Mohammed was the chief of staff. So in 1999, those were seen as the power brokers, kitchen cabinet. Now, when you now go to the Yaradua time, it became a matter of the likes of Andoaka, the Attorney General, Yusuf Tilde, the Idi Kam, Mustafa Noiveta, Abdurrahman Dambazao, that's former chief of army staff. During the time, those were the prominent names, but the face of that real cabal was the Minister of Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Michael Andoaka, that said Mr. President could actually sign, the bill and the budgets from any place in the world. Absolutely. The powers would go to Saudi Arabia with Mr. President. Talking about times of good luck, you see even the likes of Ayo Richard Jeffo, Pastor Edwin Clark, Orunto Douglas, late Orunto Douglas.
Important as winning them at the polls. This is an intra-party fight for the APC. It's perhaps even more dangerous than...
They're even claiming that these are not even necessary members of the APC, that they are working with Mr. President. They're not their party members.
How much role do you think these individuals would play as to who emerges president after this election? Do you think they carry so much power?
The responsibility, look, we've gotten over that time that they could influence whoever emerges as president, in the sense that, look, the ruling party, they've had their primaries, and they would have done a lot to make sure that somebody emerges. And immediately they had their candidates, that's enough. But the responsibility right now solely lies on 93 million Nigerians, not any cabal anywhere. Nothing any cabal can do around the place. The Independent National Electoral Commission has told us several times that it's going to be decided by the ballots, not any cabal in Aso Rock.
So the conversation has been how invested Mr. President is in the Asiwaju campaign. And we saw him come out, I think, which state was that, where he mentioned that he's solidly
came out in
behind
Katsina
him.
State today,
Yes, today.
And he's been to some other states with Mr. President.
It would seem that there's not so much division as it's been widely publicized, or is this just for the camera, the kind of relationship we're seeing?
After this administration, I think I'm going to write a book on Muhammadu Buhari. He's a complex character. You can't read his mind. You can't read his body language. It's a very, very difficult person to predict, to read his mind and everything. But what I've seen lately, to douse any speculation that he has not been supporting his party, he has gone ahead in Katsina State to say, look, this is, in fact, there's one audio that is online, and I listened to Mr. President calling Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Mr. President, sir, referring to him as Mr. President, sir, that I'm committed to your presidency, and I'm committed that our party, the All Progressive Congress, will actually win this poll. So that's what from where you stopped and everything, the Electoral Act. And
what is also done in the past 7 years is a subject of debate for many Nigerians to decide whether
it's debatable.
They agree that it's done
like
well or not.
Journalists in the newsroom that you are as good as your last report.
Absolutely. We have to go now. Senior political correspondent Ayodele Ozugbaku, it's going to be...
Miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Before they can't see my sister. The road just make pokri. But now I can't love the road if I can't see my sister. Okowa, may God bless her. And may God give her more wisdom.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa is very kind, he's very caring, he's so good, especially to the students and to the children. He's concerned about us, that is why he made this facility for us.
Before this program, I've been owing debts of about 1.something million. But through this shop I've opened, I was able to pay that debt.
The governor is a lifter of life.
When shippers groan under the weight of ceaseless charges that tend to throw them off balance in the sector, Nigerian Shippers Council promptly comes to their rescue.
We know that we are achieving something.
Today, you now have a regulator.
To get justice done without the money for any charges.
Every breaking story, minute by minute, right at the hour when the city gets busy and just before it sleeps. We're live from every angle with objective insight and analysis. TVC News, first in breaking news.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello, my name is Tosin Adebayo, and thanks for joining us for another edition of NAFDAC and Your Health, where we highlight how the Food and Drug Regulator is ensuring the availability of quality and safe food, drugs, and other regulated products. On this week's edition of the program, we'll continue our focus on drug abuse and how the agencies regulating drug trade in the country. It should be recalled that in the last episode of the program, we highlighted the destruction exercise of falsified and counterfeit medicines carried out by NAFDAC and other international partners in Benin Republic. The exercise was a culmination of a 5.5-year diligent espionage by NAFDAC, its sister agencies, and other international partners. In this interface with the Director General of NAFDAC, she tells us about how the journey to salvage Nigerians from the abuse of tramadol and codeine started.
Drug abuse has been a concern for me since I began BBC documentary on codeine abuse, how our young children were growing mad, how women were trading with codeine. It was a shock for me. So I was faced with two problems that I never envisaged: abuse of codeine and abuse of tramadol. For the codeine, we did a lot. Of course, the then Minister of Health banned the use of codeine, and NAFDAC sent a recall letter to all codeine syrup manufacturers in Nigeria. We were able to recover about 5 million bottles of codeine, which were put on hold at the different manufacturers were
that the stringent regulation on codeine.
About 21 containers of tramadol. NAFDAC has a tracking system to know where the shipments are on the sea. As soon as the unscrupulous importers knew that the case was taken to court in Benin Republic, finally the government of Benin Republic said that they should be destroyed in Cotonou, and we were fortunate to get those destroyed on December 21, 2022. That was 4.5 years of waiting, of working to ensure that tramadol, those containers of tramadol never see the shores of Nigeria, in order to protect the health of our people, the sanity of our people.
The war against drug abuse.
After the unscrupulous importers of tramadol or any narcotics. And now that NDLEA is also working very hard, NDLEA is also at the heels of people that are importing tramadol in strengths that are not approved. We only have 50, we only approve 50 and 100 milligram tramadol. So we've done a lot, and we will keep doing a lot. We are also doing a lot of post-marketing surveillance, risk-based post-marketing surveillance, to ensure that those that we gave permit to stick to the approvals that we gave them. And if they do not, we can blacklist, we can deregister, we can hand out huge fines. So there are so many ways in which we are making sure that our population is protected against drug abuse. But we're going to do more. We're going to go more into secondary schools to educate our children, catch them young program. We're going to revitalize that. We're going to continue to use young people, university students, or young pharmacists to make sure that they can speak to their own age group in the language that they understand. We plan also to do a lot of drama to project the evils in drug abuse. Go to churches to make sure, or mosques, to make sure that the word goes out that drug abuse can destroy lives.
There is also the challenge of drug hawkers who are patronized by unsuspecting Nigerians, both in the rural and urban areas of the country.
I've not been to many countries in Africa, but hawking of drugs is very common in our clime. Unfortunately, a lot of the drugs that are hawked from place to place are dangerous. A lot of them, and before you know it, they've moved from quarter A in a particular town to area B in the same town. So it is very, very fluid, and it is almost a daily activity of NAFDAC to ensure that drug hawkers are sanctioned. But we also need to get the word out more that drug hawking kills surveillance. And we need a lot of staff. We need a lot of tools. Getting vehicles. You cannot use Okada to start going from place to place in a city. So we need vehicles that we can easily use on, just at a go to ensure that we move fast in order to make sure that drug hawking is mitigated.
Nevertheless, the agency is not relenting on its public enlightenment programs in a bid to alert Nigerians on the dangers of patronizing drug hawkers and unauthorized drug traders.
We're going to be using different means, using radio again. We'll be using radio, using this means, putting billboards up, putting billboards on buses where people can easily see. My advice to the public is do not buy drugs that are hawked. Do not buy drugs that are hawked, because those drugs may kill. Those drugs may change the quality of life. Always go to a pharmacy setting, pharmacy store, not a cornered drugstore somewhere. Go to a pharmacy setting where you can get receipt of the medicine you bought, so that if there's a problem, you can always say, I bought it from this pharmacy, that pharmacy. And most of the time, those that are bought from the pharmacy store will not give problems. So that would be my advice. For those who think that they can keep buying from drug hawkers, please save your lives. Do not buy from drug hawkers.
NAFDAC and your health will be back after this break. Stay tuned.
Beware. Fake or damaged drugs have put many people in serious health harms and have killed many others. But you can protect yourself by seeking professional healthcare advice when you feel unwell. Buy drugs from only licensed pharmaceutical outlets and make sure you check the packaging for poor condition, spelling errors, and unclear labelings. Also, check NAFDAC registration number, batch number, the expiry date, manufacture date, and manufacturer's address before paying, and always collect a receipt. If you suspect a drug to be fake or damaged, report immediately to NAFDAC on 0800-162-3322 or send an email to sf.alert@nafdac.gov.ng. Protect yourself and your loved ones. This message is brought to you by NAFDAC with support from WHO.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, the program is NAFDAC and your health. NAFDAC is not taking lightly the essence of collaboration in the battle against drug abuse. The agency has worked with Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, in time past to destroy over 2 million bottles of tramadol, an exercise that demonstrates the capacity of the agency to work with partners outside and within the country.
Going on behind me is a preliminary exercise that we had to undertake here for the destruction of the codeine syrup that was seized by NAFDAC all over the country. If you do recall, codeine syrup constituted a menace to the society. A lot of people got addicted to it. The agency had to live up to its responsibility and respond appropriately by mopping up all codeine syrup in Nigeria. These syrups are mopped up, kept in safe custody, and now we have concluded a perfected plan, and we have started the process of destruction of the codeine syrup. And that is what we are doing presently. It's a very laborious task, difficult task, because we have to open millions of bottles of codeine syrup, decant, and denature them, make them unfit for human consumption before we eventually destroy them. So what we are doing here presently is to ensure that the products that have been in our custody for a while are brought out, and with thorough supervision and diligence of our staff, especially the coppers we are using, we are going to decant over 2 million bottles of codeine syrup. Over 2 million bottles of codeine syrup, more from Nigeria. And we conduct this exercise swiftly, and we make sure that the syrups are properly disposed.
The destruction exercise happens in different phases. First, the denaturing phase. This process involves emptying the codeine syrup in different containers and then to different tanks, of which caustic soda will then be added to denature the syrup. These processes are carried out under strict supervision.
I think you're tearing it up. Bring it. Bring some.
Those ones are empty.
Oh, the empty ones, keep them back here.
When you finish, you can't open 2 cartons at a time. No. Please, when you finish, you return the empty back. Then before you carry another carton. You understand?
The denatured codeine syrup is then evacuated to the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, for proper destruction.
We have about 2,700,000 bottles of syrup. We have to first of all denature it before handing over to LASEPA for final destruction exercise.
The destruction exercise at the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, had the DG, NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tunji Bello, to oversee the process.
Very, very impressed about what Lagos State is doing. It's a state of excellence, so I don't expect anything less. We deliberated very well before we decided to use Lagos State. Consider the scientific factors. We wanted to make sure that the codeine syrup was deactivated before leaving our own site, so that it is no longer codeine syrup by the time it got here. And for Lagos State to put all this process in place, I believe we have a lot of hope for Nigeria. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
The General Manager, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Dolapo Fashawe, gives an insight on the collaboration.
My joy today is that an organization like NAFDA can come to LASEPA and have a collaboration on destroying expired chemicals. You may ask, what's the big deal? These things, if we pour them, as my commissioner has told me, into secondary drainages, it goes into our big water bodies. and they are chemicals and they are dangerous. Before now, what people used to do is just pour anything in water, or burn, or pour it in the water, codeine, then the fishes start to die. The ecosystem is disrupted.
About 3.5 years ago, that Nigeria suddenly found herself faced with scourge of abuse of codeine containing syrup by some of our youths. This abuse was as a result of consumption of codeine containing syrup against off-the-label use of the medicine. The effects of this abuse became alarming as presented in the BBC documentary in April 2018. The federal government, through the directives of the Honorable Minister of Health, banned the codeine syrup from the supply chain, from manufacturers' warehouses, distributors, pharmacy outlets, and so on. NAFDAC, as a responsible agency of the government, called immediately for recall of the syrup, and the exercise resulted in mopping up over 2.5 million bottles of codeine containing syrup from all over Nigeria by the agency's pharmacovigilance and post-marketing surveillance directorates. These bottles were kept on hold at the respective pharmaceutical companies. After some settlements with the Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Group of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, PMG-MAN, the codeine containing syrup were moved, the bottles were moved to the Investigation and Enforcement Directorate warehouse at Oshodi, Lagos. That is the agency's directorate in Oshodi. The next big task is taking a decision on how best to destroy 2.5 million bottles of codeine syrup. 3 directors of NAFDAC were put on this assignment. After a lot of deliberations by the agency's management, NAFDAC rationally decided that LASEPA waste disposal facility will be used to destroy the product. We arrived at this decision because we wanted the product to be safely destroyed without constituting hazard to the environment. Also, we chose LASEPA because it has technical competence and capacity to undertake the destruction. More importantly, the entire process will be transparent, as we are witnessing now, and we are aware that LASEPA will issue certificates of safe destruction at the end of the exercise. After a series of meetings between the two agencies and scientific considerations, the procedures for safe and efficient destruction of the product were arrived at and agreed upon. This included, first, the activation of the collected syrup at our own facility in Oshodi using caustic soda before transporting to LASEPA. The agency worked out the logistics of transporting over 260,000 liters of the syrup to LASEPA facilities in batches to cope with the capacity of the LASEPA plant. Today, I'm delighted that we chose wisely by asking LASEPA to undertake the destruction exercise. As the exercise progressed very well as planned, the exercise actually progressed very well as planned. I congratulate Lagos State Government for setting up this modern plant for safe treatment of liquid waste in Lagos. I wish to express my profound appreciation to the Deputy Governor for taking time to witness this exercise. I also thank Lagos Government for making the facility available for NAFDAC for use, especially for this critical national assignment.
That's how we wrap up this week's edition of the program. Make it a date with us, same time, same station, next week for another edition of the program. Meanwhile, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food product peddlers, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, please call 0800 162 3322 or email nafdac@nafdac.gov.ng. Be part of the fight to safeguard the health of our nation. Stay safe always. See you next week.
It's the most visited state in Africa. As the fifth largest economy on the continent, covering Lagos and its government is no mean feat. It's a busy beat. We go beyond the cutting of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos State government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
Stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time do you see news? First, with breaking news.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
On the news tonight, EFCC Chairman Abdul Rashid Bawa again committed to prison for disobeying court order. Supreme Court affirms Ahmad Lawan as candidate of Yobe North Senatorial District. Outside Nigeria, huge earthquake kills over 2,300 people in southern Turkey and northern Syria. Coming up in sports tonight, Leeds United sacked Jesse March as head coach after 1 year in charge of the